chance meeting during the bustling rush hour. The train was packed, as it always was during the rush hour. Typically, I find it quite detestable. Trapped in a corner, I grasped the handrail above me with a sense of urgency, enveloped by a sea of men and women returning from work, shopping, or whatever obligations compelled them into the collective struggle of the commute. Arms, knees, elbows, and backs enveloped me, pressing in from all sides, creating a suffocating embrace. Individuals immersed themselves in newspapers or magazines, gazing out the windows, or engaging in hushed conversations, all in an effort to momentarily escape the discomfort that enveloped us. The subway car jolted and lurched, compelling us to sway in unison, and I found myself yielding to the rhythm of the ride. Gripping the rail with all my strength, I sensed that even if I released my hold, I would still be anchored in place, buoyed by the throng of humanity enveloping me. In this condition, the train arrived at Cortelu station. At this stop, just like every other, I found myself quietly wishing that a few passengers would disembark, alleviating the weight of the crowd. I observed a certain file emerge, a wave of relief washing over me, yet it felt insufficient. More began to trickle in, and then even more followed. I clenched my jaw as they squeezed into the already packed car, pressing us even tighter together. At last, the doors sealed shut, and we resumed our journey, now even more crowded than before. It was only after we had been on the move for some time that I became aware of the woman ahead of me. She possessed an undeniable allure, completely engrossed in the pages of the newspaper before her. Her cascading red locks draped elegantly over the shoulders of a vibrant green blouse, while my gaze shifted downward to admire how her silhouette was gracefully embraced by a delicate black skirt. She turned her back to me, and I felt a sudden shock as I became aware that the throng had arranged us in such a way that my body was intimately pressed against hers. I attempted to divert my gaze and push aside the discomfort of the moment. It appeared that she remained oblivious. As the train rocked gently on its tracks, I felt myself drawn nearer to her time and again. The contours of her silhouette brushed against my body through the fabric of her skirt, and with each subtle movement, I found myself drawn closer to her. Envisioning an alternate reality was effortless, one devoid of the delicate fabric that separated our bodies. I cast my gaze downward at her, attempting to divert my attention to a cigarette advertisement plastered on the wall, all the while being jostled into her repeatedly. She moved just a fraction, and her motion grazed my side. The weight of it all became overwhelming. A wave of nervousness surged through me, my body betraying my attempts to remain calm. A sheen of perspiration formed on my brow as the unsettling thought crossed my mind that she could be aware of my unease. She sensed my presence close to her and understood the gravity of the moment. I pressed my lips together, attempting to coax my body into stillness, as I awaited her response. Still, nothing transpired. She persisted in her reading of the newspaper, seemingly unfazed by my presence as I bounced against her, as if the world around us had come to a standstill. She must have noticed. Perhaps she hadn't. That was all that occupied my mind. Perhaps she would perceive it merely as an unintentional collision, allowing me to escape unscathed. A sense of relief washed over me, yet I chose to hold back. I needed to bring this to a close before it spiraled beyond control. I adjusted my position slightly, attempting to turn away as much as possible. Suddenly, a gentle caress brushed against my hip. A hand slipped a finger into the pocket of my jeans, drawing me back until I found myself facing her again. Our bodies pressed together once more. The woman lifted her gaze from the pages of her newspaper. Her cerulean gaze met mine, and in that instant, I was struck by the weight of the moment before she averted her eyes to the paper once more. It was her hand that drew me back. The message resonated unmistakably. She desired nothing more than for me to continue. With a heart full of trepidation, I allowed myself to sway gently with the rhythm of the train. I attempted to create the illusion that it was merely the car's movements, yet I shifted alongside it, pressing softly against her. My hips swayed gently against her, pressing deeper into her. With each movement, a weight bore down upon me. She was replying to me. In the midst of this throng, we exchanged a silent secret. I tilted my head back, drawing nearer still. A wave of delight enveloped me as I sensed her warm body pressed against my own. As I gazed down at her, I noticed the flush of pink spreading across her cheeks, her fingers tightening their hold on the newspaper. I cast my gaze about our surroundings. It appeared that no one took notice or showed any concern. Amidst the throng of humanity, it was merely the two of us. I released my grip on the rail with a nonchalant gesture, allowing my hand to glide down effortlessly. My hand glided softly between us, coming to a tender rest on her hip. I applied gentle pressure, and I caught the sound of her sharp intake of breath as she leaned into me. As I felt her hand once more, the surprise that had accompanied our last encounter had faded into familiarity. Her fingers glided to my zipper, easing it down just a fraction. Then her hand found its way into my jeans, gripping my tool with a firm touch. Unshackled, I drew nearer to her. I lifted her skirt slightly, attempting to maintain a casual demeanor. It was at that moment I realized she had chosen to forego any undergarments. She stood completely bare. Then I slipped my hand beneath the fabric of her skirt. I was brimming with joy. Her lips, glistening with moisture, mirrored the affection she felt in those fleeting moments. The sensation engulfed me, and the train's natural rhythm lent an electric quality to the moment, amplifying my experience. She reciprocated with fervor, clutching my instrument firmly as I swayed softly with the rhythm of the train. I grasped the handrail more firmly. The sound of her newspaper crinkling echoed as she too tightened her hold on it. She inhaled deeply, her breath quickening as I started to shift with greater assurance, my touch soft against her. She bit her lip, releasing a gentle sound that lingered in the air. Her body tensed in perfect harmony as she approached her climax, and that feeling propelled me into ecstasy. A gentle sound escaped me as I approached my own peak. We were entwined, trembling, enveloped by the crowd, yet indifferent to it all. The train emitted a high-pitched whine as it glided into the next station. Panic surged through me as I rushed to compose myself and fasten my zipper. With a gentle motion, her hand glided over the fabric of her skirt, arranging it perfectly. We positioned ourselves perfectly as the train came to a halt and the doors swung open. Individuals started to make their way out. The woman averted her gaze, and the soft sound of paper stirred in the air. She ripped the edge of her newspaper with a decisive motion. She placed it gently in my palm, her gaze meeting mine for a fleeting moment. Her expression remained serene and composed, yet for a fleeting instant, I caught a glimmer of amusement dancing in her eyes. She then stepped out alongside the others. I cast my gaze upon the paper she had entrusted to me. A hastily scrawled note adorned it, proclaiming, "I'll be on this train next Tuesday. I trust you will be as well. Perhaps rush hour isn't as dreadful as it seems, after all." I gently raised the hem of her skirt. It was at that moment I realized she had chosen to forego any undergarments. She stood there, completely bare, as I shifted my position. My hand slipped beneath the fabric of her skirt. I was filled with joy. Her lips, poised in a vertical line, were everything, moist, as she cherished the moments. The sensation washed over me, and the train's natural rhythm infused the moment with an electric energy. I kindly invite you to subscribe to my channel. Let us embark on the tale that unfolds today.